Ooh, what's happening, man? This is probably not going to be that long. My phone's dying. Uh, I whatever works best for me for making notes to myself and all kinds of shit. Plus, I really am for some reason gravitating toward the concept of documenting, like documentation for some reason. I don't know if it's my own uh my own like compulsion, or if it's I don't know, who cares. um Man, with what I was talking about earlier, another thing came to me after I went to play dinosaur with the little homie. And I guess I have kind of talked about it a little bit. Or did I? I think I did like a 3.5 hour live with Void. Just kind of like kicking it and answering, kind of just going with a flow and answering questions that he would throw at me. But absolutism. I really don't think that absolutism really has much value in this experience, this shared experience. I mean, every once in a while, but I honestly, even the ones that I want to say absolutism, I said love, like true love. And by that, I don't just mean like romantic true love, just generally speaking. I don't think that's true either. When I really think about it, I don't think that absolutism applies to that. Everyone has their breaking point with certain stuff. So I honestly almost have to retract that. But absolutism and extremism, for a being not to be able to separate themselves from their beliefs or their truth, which even just the concept of truth being absolute is weird to me. I kept running into that with the aggressive Christians in those comments. They kept saying, dude, it felt really strange. It felt like virtually accidentally walking into a church, and then you find out it's even more cult-like than a regular church. They kept saying the same stuff to me, like truth isn't subjective. And I was like, it's literally subjective. My truth is different than your truth. That's until you can prove that your truth, and even then, that's absolutism. So there could be other truths. And one dude was like, he said the whole truth isn't subjective thing, and I was like, all right, well then prove the truth, without saying something about the future, revelations, or the future, what's that shit called? The future, rapture. Because that's not proving it, it's just saying what you believe. Or using a book, because I can also bring to you a book that supports my stuff, my assertions. And, I haven't gotten a response to that. And it's these are the things that I'm talking about. And I'm starting to notice, it's not just Christians, let me first say that. But I'm starting to notice, you know what, I'll take back just beings in general. Not just Christians, but beings in general are starting to fall more and more into the concept of blinding themselves to things that don't make them comfortable, or that they don't agree with, or that make them feel emotions that they don't want to feel, like fear or regret, or whatever, fill in the blank. That's a very pushed out way to go about this experience. And it also sets you up for failure. there's going to be really intense stuff that you go through that you maybe didn't have to go through in the way that you do because you haven't ever allowed yourself to go through bad experiences. Like, I mentioned I've done my shadow work and now it's kind of just maintenance and stuff, and you know, that is true. And within that shadow work, one of the things that I realized was I used to look at the things that I used to try to figure out what caused the more uncomfortable or what I would think to be bad experiences in my life. Like, what caused that? But to be honest, and I can find things that, you know, helped to cause it, but in reality, if I didn't go through those things, I wouldn't be the being that I consider to be very, very mentally and emotionally strong. I wouldn't be able to stick to my convictions. I wouldn't be able to be, you know, empathetic to the level that I am. There's so much benefit to those things. So to constantly be like, I don't want to see that, I don't want to hear that, or like super aggressive when someone says something that doesn't go with what you believe or think to be true, is sad to me, but also interesting, because the lack of logic, for me, if someone says something that I don't agree with, but there's enough logic in it for me to be like, you know what, I can't disprove that. I'm just going off of what I feel, my intuition. So, touche. You know, you're just as likely to have a truth as I am. Like, other beings are not displaying that. Like, if you say something that doesn't line up with what they believe, and I mean believe, not think, believe, they freak out. They're freaking out on you now. And maybe that was always the case and I just wasn't paying that close of attention, but I don't think that's the case. At the very least, it has always kind of been like that, but it is for sure progressing. It's getting way more intense. It's, you know, scientific mind is like, oh, this is interesting, but the matter of me, the being of me is like, this is gross. Like, I ended up having to be like, can we just agree to disagree and you stop throwing Bible verses at me like that's supposed to prove something? That doesn't do for the other person what you think it does. It reaffirms some shit in your mind. And the fact that being, and not just Christians, again, not just Christians, beings that do that, the fact that they don't understand that is troubling to me. And I'm not trying to like be preachy or anything. I'm just trying to see, like, it feels like I am one of few people that thinks like that. And I'm trying to see, like, is everyone like this? Is everyone so like dogmatic and like, I'm gonna attack you if you don't think or believe the way that I do? Because I didn't used to think that. I used to think that there was such an eclectic diversity to the human condition. But now it's, you know, and I'll grant the fact that these social media apps are essentially weapons. Like, you can't trust what the analytics that you see. You can't trust the numbers that you see. All my videos, all my lives, like my archives, they all say 0, but they have comments on them. My YouTube videos, I'll watch my views get like trimmed, not deleted, but deleted, but not like fully deleted, like trimmed, like a couple at a time here and there, and like I'm not supposed to notice it or something, which I remembered recently. That's what shadow banning is. It's keeping you at a specific, you know, not very visible level, which I was prepared for that. It's just very trippy to see that shit in action. You know, I love the period beings, but it's also very interesting and awkward and creepy to see this pushed. I'll say it, to see this pushed, because it is very skewed, but I'll say again, like I did in the first, little reminder that I made for myself. It's not just on. I'm not just seeing this on social media. I'm seeing it in my personal life, not going out in public. In my personal life, one day things are cool. Next day, wake up, they're tripping, just out of nowhere with no like explanation or this is why I'm upset. None of that. Just like very, very malleable moods and energies and imposing energies and moods. It's very interesting to observe for sure. Especially like I think beings are used to those behaviors really affecting other beings to the point that they like hard adjust their position or their plans or whatever. So when you don't do that, as I am no longer doing that, it like multiplies it by a bunch. Like, oh, you're not going to change what you're doing or what you think or what whatever. They freak the fuck out. I don't know, what to tell you if that's your game plan or your tactics on like kind of manipulating or trying to impose upon or gaslight or whatever, verbiage you want to use. Because that's for a lot of people, I think we're realizing like that's what's been really, really hindering in a lot of areas, and I'm not really gonna entertain it anymore. It's draining. It's severely illogical and manipulative, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm just not gonna entertain it anymore. And I guess the reason I keep commenting on it is because it's so sudden. Like it's like yesterday, obviously it wasn't not happening at all, but today, very weird. And I'm just speaking personally. I'm asking if anyone else is noticing it because I'm just interested to see if it's like a phenomena rather than just an instance in my own personal experience. But this is more or less just like a note. I want to reference this and put it into a larger talk that I'm going to end up putting this entire thought, or, whatever you want to call it, up on the channel. I slacked off. Or I didn't slack off. I gave myself a break yesterday and watched some anime, and I do plan on getting hopefully 2 videos set up and uploaded today, but at least 1. And it seems like if I only end up doing 1, it's going to be on this, because this is like really got my my gears turning, you know what I mean? But if not, I am still going to do the divergent anomalies and phenomena stuff, because that's also very strange. A lot of strange stuff happening, you know what I mean? I also need to look into if there's been more progress or disclosure in the that mass sighting in Florida. I haven't really checked in on the list stuff, so we'll see what's up. We'll see what's happening. All right then, okay.